name is Rachel Kowalik, and I do large abstract aerial landscapes based on places I have lived. And I do this series of work because I've lived so many places throughout the world. I have several jobs. I work on my art here in my studio at Western Avenue Studios in Lowell. I also have part-time work at a church where I'm an administrative assistant. And I also do work at the Worcester House Museum of Art, which is here in Lowell. When it hit me that I wanted to become an artist was when I saw a show in Peru of Spanish artists, including works by like Tapias and Chillida and Moreau and all Spanish contemporary artists. And I saw a sculpture there by Eduardo Chillida. I was just awestruck. It was the first time it's ever happened to me where by viewing the artwork, I was literally transported to somewhere else. And I thought to myself, if I could just once do the same thing to someone else, that would be worthwhile. That would be a life worth living. Eduardo Chillida, his sculpture definitely first really inspired me to become an artist professionally, try and pursue it professionally. In my work, I'm very inspired. I really, really love contemporary Australian Aboriginal artists. You might be familiar with their dot paintings, Western dot paintings. Their use of color and just motion and just exuberance of life is just incredible. By the time you're 16, you're already being pushed into thinking, where do you want to go to college? What do you want to do for a career? And so I decided right then and there I want to become an artist. And but it took me a long time to go to art school. I didn't go right after high school. I took 6 years off in between high school and college. And then I couldn't take working dead-end jobs in hotels anymore. And so I decided it was time to go back to school. So then I decided to go to art school as an adult. And I went to Maine College of Art in Portland, Maine, and majored in painting and just graduated a little over 2 years ago. My family's been very supportive of me. My mom has always been, she'll be the first to say she's not an artist, but that she's crafty, in the sense that she always made our own Halloween costumes and she would do all these elaborate themed birthday parties for us. My dad is unbelievably supportive, and very appreciative of the arts, but he would say he doesn't understand art. I chose first off to work with oil paints because I find that they have richer colors than other paints. And so I love that. I love color. And I like to use metallic paints, metallic leaf, copper leaf, aluminum leaf, imitation gold leaf, and just about anything. For my dad's job, as a geologist, looking for precious metals around the world, and also because it's shiny and I like it, I'll admit it. What makes it unique is that it's my story. The paintings are my story. They're my life story, and so no one else can claim that. And there's definitely other people that do map paintings, or definitely other people that do aerial landscapes, but I bring to it my story, and so that makes them unique. I bring my life experiences of moving around into my artwork, and the cultural influences I've experienced. One of the biggest changes was that when I first started seriously considering pursuing art as a career, I was mainly a photographer. Black and white photography, working in a darkroom. I'm a bit of a Luddite. I don't use digital camera. I don't even own a digital camera, but I still take black and white photographs and try and develop them on my spare time. In college, I just became more and more attracted to painting, and I never would have guessed I was going to end up doing what are basically abstract paintings. because I never had done abstract work before I started college. So that's been a big change. Go from black and white photography to abstract paintings. I started a series of paintings based on all the places I've lived, which is upwards of 16 places now around the world. And this painting is the very first place I lived. It's where I lived when I was born. And so it is in Orrington, Maine. And since I don't have any, I was only there for about less than a year, I have no memories of the place, because how many newborns have memories? And so I chose the colors to reflect that, in that there would just be bright colors, and just, I wanted it to be almost overwhelming, just lots of colors all jumbled together. Well, there's a couple ways I try and contribute to the artistic community here in Lowell. First off, I have a studio here at Western Avenue Studios, and so we have open studios for Saturday of every month, and I'm always here. I always, it's part of my routine that no matter what else is going on in my life, for Saturday every month, I am here, my door open to the public, to make sure that people can come in. And I also recently won a competition to do a mural on the outside wall of 119 Gallery here in Lowell. And so I've never done a mural before, so this is a big learning experience. But it might be something I'm trying to do more of in the future. I love my studio here at Western Avenue Studios. The community here is really great, and I've made just really great friends and colleagues, and because there's so many artists in the building, they're just a great resource to tap into. If, like when I was starting the mural, I never done a mural before, so I reached out to people to see, what should I know? The only thing I don't like about it is that there's no air conditioning, and it can get pretty hot here, and especially on the 4th floor. So it can be, well, frankly, it can be impossible to work here a lot of times in the summer. And since I am a painter, it would be nice if I had my own area to clean up in my studio, my own sink area. But there is a sink area down the hall, but it'd be nice to have it in my studio. But other than that, it's pretty good. My first thought was of my dad, because of my art, I think he's gotten to know me better than he did otherwise. It's taken a while, because at first when I would show him what I was doing in college, he would say, okay, that's nice. I don't get it, but it's nice. He appreciates maps too. It's been a great way to connect with my dad. I find so much of, like, when the public is looking at my work and I'm talking to them, and, I think that it's a good conversation starter. Like, people's looking at my artwork, and then, it brings up ideas. Painting of Englewood, Colorado, where I lived in middle school. And I used to ride my bike a lot there. And so when it came time to do this particular painting, I knew I needed hills, because anytime you ride a bike somewhere, you're so much more aware of the hills. And then in this path here, so this is very loosely the path that I took to get from home to school. And embedded in the path in a few areas, you can see the bike trail marks in gold leaf, imitation gold leaf. And a lot of people wonder how I made this. And some people have even guessed that it was ceramic, which it's not. It's actually paper mache on top of chicken wire. I would say that probably one of the biggest challenges as a professional artist is just getting people to see my work. Getting people to take the time to stop and see my work. I'm not saying if they see it that they'll definitely buy it. I've gotten into the habit, I tell everyone that I meet that I'm an artist and that I have a studio and that we have open studios, and try and get people to come here all the time. And sometimes I succeed, but sometimes I have to push a little, not push, but remind people a few times. One of the hardest things about being a professional artist is trying to find the time to actually do artwork. Because there's, never mind day job and all, and family and all that, there's just so much involved with being a professional artist that doesn't have anything to do with art. Like marketing, updating my website, all that stuff. It takes time. Or finding shows to apply to and putting together application packets and all that. It all takes time. So the time I can actually paint, that's great. Not only am I an ambassador for my art, I really feel like I'm a little ambassador for Lowell. I'm constantly trying to get people to come to Lowell and telling them how great it is and how many opportunities there are. And one thing that I say to a lot of people is that Lowell is up and coming. It just hasn't come yet, but it's on its way. This painting, it's a bit of a departure. It's definitely more abstract than the other ones. But it's of Lima, Peru, where I lived in high school. And it's basically one map on top of another map. So it's two maps plus the eyeball shapes. And the orange, what I call my angry orange line, is a stretch of road where when I was 15, a man followed me on the street and grabbed me. So it reflects a traumatic experience. And but at first I found it really painful to do this painting. And I kept telling myself, should I really be doing this? Maybe I should just stop, come up with something else. But I pushed through and did it, and now I find it a lot easier to talk about the experience, and I don't flash back emotionally to that 15-year-old girl. So it was extremely cathartic. There are a couple of things I would like to say to aspiring artists. First off, it's really important to believe in yourself. It can be easy to let, not just critics, but just people even close to you in your life to convince you that you're not worth it or that you're not talented. And you just have to keep trying, keep working. That's the other thing, keep working, keep doing art. I understand sometimes you need time off, God knows I am not someone who can come in religiously, 3 hours a day, every day, work on my art, but every week I do come into my studio, so you have to work. Make sure to build up a community around you. Maybe just a handful of friends and family members, but I like to think that just like it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to have a successful artist. You really need that support system in place to help you, to get feedback, just to help you out in any way possible. My future plans, I would say, involve me staying in Lowell for at least another year, maybe 2 years. After that, well, I do move around a lot, and I don't see that changing. So there's absolutely nothing against Lowell. I don't know. I like to move different places, and I haven't lived overseas in a long time, so I'd like to live overseas again. So I'm considering, I would really love to go to grad school in Edinburgh. So that would be what I would love to do, is to go to grad school in Edinburgh for painting. So